One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles, reports, and pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
We all made it, man. We all made it to freaking Friday. TGIF. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning so far. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a couple of updates that's going on with previous stories that we have discussed in the past on this channel, as well as breaking news. We have a lot of kind of things going on here. As you guys see that I have labeled here, France to recognize Palestine statehood, and then U.S. condemns it. And then, of course, millions are under heat advisory. I think you guys also are feeling that, obviously, here in the United States. But what I don't have in the title is all of the craziness that's also happening. The Trump attempted assassination, Ryan Routh, they bring out a story and they're talking about how he can represent himself at trial and blah, blah, blah. Then they go, there's like a whole bunch of other things that are happening that are not just craziness and assassination shit. We have an update from Columbia University. They are to pay $220 million to the Trump administration. And then, as you guys know, the weather alert that is going out, I guess this is being called an extreme heat dome. That's what they're calling it. And millions of us are feeling that for sure. And then just right before we started the show, about 30 minutes prior, University of New Mexico, there was a shooting, 1 dead, 2 shot, and there's a manhunt for the suspect right now. So there's a lot going on. We're going to go ahead and get through the call to actions, man. Make sure you guys come in, hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Here comes the money part, though. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting at $2.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank account there with anybody, but check it out. This is exactly the way that we speak, the way that we do. Looking for the truth, and that's it. That's the only narrative here, man, and we're 100% funded by you guys. Most organizations and media outlets are not going to be helping and condoning, actual truth seeking. So we're 100% funded by you guys. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. Great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, and if you guys see it in the chat over here, let me go ahead and scroll up. There is also a Discord link that Naomi threw out there, so make sure you guys hit that Discord. That's where we all continue the conversation after the show's been over, and we all hang out in there, man. We're a big family, so make sure you join up on that. Last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that we, of course, let you guys know we've got these going right here. And so I will read out your message just like a super chat. I've got the email up right now, so if anything comes up, I will absolutely call it out. So with that being said, good morning to everybody, man. We got, I like Suckles Ironworks. I like that name, by the way. Good morning to you. We got Get Some J as well as Hardwire 1%er, my man. Gary, good to see you as well as Charles down there from Down Under. Yes, you'll see Lucy running around. She was running around right behind me right before the show. But anyways, can't hear a fucking sound. What are you talking about? You got to bring up your audio, man. You got to bring up your audio. Shows that everything's good on my side. Let's see here. It's drunk here in Michigan. Yeah. Come get your weather, bro. Forget about it. Let's see here as well as I want to scroll up and make sure I get everyone. And then brother Steve Easy. Steve Easy's out and doing his thing, man. So much love and respect for you guys hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and get into the craziness of today. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories to get through today. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to start off with this whole thing with Ryan Routh, the guy that attempted the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So
the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump at a golf course picked up a win today in court, but it might not help his case. We're going to be joined right now on the ground in Fort Pierce, where the court was, by Oliviana Calmes. Oliviana, thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us? What happened inside that courtroom today?
Good evening, Andy Mack. Well, this is about Ryan Routh, and we know that back in September...
Ruth? Is that... Okay, maybe I was saying Routh, but Ruth. That's
Secret Service.
That's right. I'm just illiterate as fuck.
Caught him with a rifle at Trump's golf course. Now he's been trying to get rid of his lawyers and represent himself. The judge, Eileen Cannon, said that this can hurt his chances, but she agreed to let him do it. And Routh says he's, quote, fully aware of the drawbacks and that his plan for defense rests on character and intent. Still, most criminal defense lawyers say representing yourself is risky.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't know why anybody actually goes up there and represents themselves. I mean, I know that even Hardwire, he did it. He represented himself, but not on a criminal level. You know, that was a different court. And I really think that's awesome that you did that as well, Hardwire, right? But on a criminal side, that's where you want to get your lawyers involved, man. They're the ones that know the nuance and the specialty of the law. They're the ones that can go and get you. And I don't know, man. Like if you don't have to speak in that kind of scenario, why would you? But anyways.
Arena for over 3 decades. I assure you, no one there wants him to represent himself.
What's up, Joker?
It's
Good
a
morning.
logistical nightmare.
And Straight Jacket.
In one respect,
SNS.
you've got to make sure that all of his rights are protected. On the other hand, you're seeing him take advantage of a system when he's defending himself without knowing what the rules are. It's really challenging.
Routh says his attorneys so far have refused.
Okay, so remember, this is not the guy that did the attempt on him, you know, shooting from the campaign trail up there in Tennessee or whatever. This, or in Pennsylvania, this is the guy that was on the golf course. Do you guys remember that? Where Secret Service was up ahead and behind Trump making his way through the golf course, hole by hole. Well, they go up by, you know, Secret Service goes up 2-3 holes and they kind of like clear the way. And this guy was hiding in a fucking bush or whatever the case is. And like there was an AK-47 sitting there or whatever. We got Rob's neighbor up in the building. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning.
To answer his questions, they don't appreciate him and that they're, quote, afraid of him.
That's
Those attorneys
right.
did just file a motion yesterday to leave the case entirely after they say their relationship...
What's up, Chris? Good to see you as well. Now, if you guys remember when we originally covered this whole ordeal, this guy is a nut job. I think everyone knows this by now, obviously, but this guy is a complete nut job. He's the one that was like super hardcore for Ukraine. And like he actually went over there to help the war effort as an American and trying to recruit people to go and help support Ukraine in person. This fucking guy's a maniac. But yeah, it's wild.
With him was broken after he refused to meet with them on more than 6 different occasions. But the judge says they'll stay as standby attorneys in case Routh has a legal question.
K2, I appreciate you letting me know that. He says it wasn't an AK. It was another Soviet rifle. I appreciate that, kind sir. I was generalizing to an extent there, but you're right. I should be using the correct nomenclature. I appreciate that, K2.
The judge believes that they need to step in. Now, a psychiatrist doesn't say he's legally insane, so that was course, not a factor in this case today. But now he's
Well,
in charge
yeah, I mean, he legally probably is actually insane, for real.
meeting all these court deadlines and court complications before his trial that is 6 weeks from now. For now, tomorrow at 10 a.m. will be his first time representing himself in a motion hearing.
He's going to be representing. So, are you serious? You don't even have a lawyer to. Oh man, this is going to be totally entertaining to watch for sure.
There's a lot to that, and now we're going to be watching that all happen before his official trial.
Well, we can't watch it because it's federal, but we will be able to hear it later.
Trial that starts September 8th.
What's up, sick
All
bastard?
Right,
Good morning.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting. The judge, Eileen Cannon, also urging Ryan to take a lawyer, take representation so he doesn't have to represent himself. And as you mentioned, it opens it up to potential challenges there. I want to ask you in terms of the time frame, since he will represent himself now, does that mean this trial could take even longer?
As of right now, it may depend on filings, but it doesn't seem like this will take any longer as indicated by the judge. However, he's now going to be doing all that processes with any evidence or jury instructions, so that will be now done separately.
So he's not even going to show up with a lawyer and represent himself. He's showing up just empty-handed.
Then jointly with the prosecution. So right now, no details on that, but we have yet to see.
All right, we're just a few months away from that beginning. Oliviana, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you here on Live Now.
Man, she's a good-looking girl.
All right, thank you so much.
Excited to point that out.
Conversation there is always very important, and that was, of course, the second plot to try to...
Real quick, holy shit, we got Slutty Gorilla Biscuits, my man. Always appreciate you coming in and helping out the channel, man, and thank you for making it rain. Not only on us over here, but, you know, someone in the Breakfast Club also gets to partake in that, so much appreciated.
To assassinate President Trump.
And another one, holy shit, motherfucker.
A golf course.
Yes, sir.
A golf course for Trump.
Thank you, kind sir.
As we were learning more information about this here on Live Now from Fox. I do want to give you even more specifics about what happened inside the courtroom as the man charged in trying to assassinate the president is one of his Florida golf courses last year was given clearance by a federal judge to represent himself upcoming in this trial. Prior to allowing him to represent himself, the judge, Eileen Cannon, told him that the court-appointed attorneys, quote, will defend you far better than you can defend yourself, and, quote,
yes.
I strongly urge you to not make that decision as a counterpoint.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. I think all of us know that, you know, like, we're talking some serious federal charges here, and you want to represent yourself when you have no interpretation of the law.
Ruth said, these are nice ladies. How can they defend me? And I'm not saying a dangerous person if they're afraid of me. They don't appreciate me, and they're afraid of me. So following this closely here.
Oh, this guy's insane. Yeah, he's just insane. So as you guys know, of course, we're going to be following the story on all of these things. We keep you guys updated on all of this. So when I get an update on it, I'll give you guys an update on it. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on into Columbia University is to pay $220 million to the Trump administration. Holy shit, man. That's a lot of moolah, man.
Next up, we want to head out to New York City, Columbia University, and the...
That totally makes sense, K2, and guess what? The motherfucker probably going to get it. He probably going to get it even, you know. I'm just guessing, you know. But, sick bastard, what's up, kind sir? Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. And he says, he who represents himself has a fool for a client. That's right.
Administration have reached a deal after a long battle over funding and a
legal battle.
Civil rights investigation that accused Columbia of turning a blind eye to anti-Semitism on campus. Fox's Caroline Elliott now joins us with the latest here live in New York City. And Caroline, yeah, this amount agreed to is in the millions and millions of dollars here.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah, Mike, looks like those protests are going to cost Columbia a lot of money over the next few years. We know the school will have to pay $220 million to settle with the Trump administration. And the deal is happening after a long back and forth that really goes back to those chaotic protests we saw break out on campus over really the better part of the last year. Now, the Ivy League will pay the 9-figure settlement over the next 3 years. And in exchange, Trump's team has agreed to reinstate most of the federal funding canceled back in March. The deal also settles several civil rights investigations into the school after the Trump administration says the university failed to protect Jewish students.
$200 million is a stiff fine.
Welcome back there, Naomi.
But I clearly...
Brother Carney's out there riding and listening. Man, ride safe out there. This is a little crazy story here. Columbia University paid $220 million to the Trump administration.
At Columbia, and I'm really pleased that we were able to come to this agreement because I think the students there that are on campus now can feel safe.
Now, Columbia has made major concessions to get this deal done, including handing over hiring and admissions data, banning masked protests, adding their own security on campus, and cooperating with the NYPD. Columbia's acting president says the school did not admit to wrongdoing as a part of the settlement.
Of course not. Anytime there's going to be these settlements, we're going to give you this money, even though this totally admits fault. But what we're going to do is we're going to legally just settle with you, and we take no accountability at all. We're just paying you $220 million.
It says, quote, we are not, however, denying the very serious and painful challenges our institution has faced with anti-Semitism. Columbia is the first Ivy League to make a deal with the White House, and it might not be the last. We're hearing that, of course, Harvard is also negotiating with the White House right now to see.
That's right, you guys. You guys don't have to like what's going on around the world, but you guys can hit that like button for me and my takes and shit. Listen, I very much appreciate that because I don't sit here and ask you guys and tell you guys to send in money or any of that, but I do ask you guys to hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely.
What they can do to get that federal funding back.
What's up, Bubba Penguin?
This deal might serve as a blueprint for others. Mike.
Yeah, Caroline, we'll definitely see just how it plays out for the other major universities.
Why can we barely hear him?
From
there we go.
New York City. We appreciate that as always. All right, everyone, we are going to take our final break here.
Nope. All right, so now we're going to actually move into the main ordeal that we have titled, right? France to recognize Palestine statehood as the U.S. condemns. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's get a little bit of a longer story. If there's anything monotonous in here, we'll go ahead and skip through it. But we definitely need to figure out what the hell is happening here with France.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. What we like to do here
That's right, Pablo. That's right. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning.
As you know, is really devote some time to break down the latest developments going on in so many of these conflicts in the Middle East. We do have the sun now coming up there and some of these vantage points. Take a look at this. There over the Gaza skyline. That's from southern Israel, also in Tel Aviv in the upper right, and the Israeli-Lebanese border in the bottom right.
Now, this is last night around 10:30 at night.
Here. So this is the new
my time. So 11:30 Eastern, I guess.
U.S. Middle East peace envoy Steve Witkoff said he is recalling the U.S. negotiating team from Doha, Qatar, for consultation, saying Hamas showed a lack of desire to reach a ceasefire in Gaza. He posted there on X today saying, we have decided to bring our team home from Doha for consultations after the latest response from Hamas, which clearly shows a lack of desire to reach a ceasefire in Gaza, while the mediators...
Wow, we just were hearing about this. We were just reporting yesterday that the Gaza... Well, I guess this happened all in one single fucking day. We were just reporting that basically the ceasefire agreement that Hamas put together to give Israel, they stated that that's actually some workable, we can work on that. And now they're saying we've decided to bring our whole team back home from Doha. After the latest response from Hamas on they're claiming what kind of response, which clearly shows a lack of desire to reach a ceasefire in Gaza. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is definitely insane.
A great effort. Hamas does not appear to be coordinated or acting in good faith. We will now consider alternative options to bring the hostages home and try to create a more stable environment for the people of Gaza. It is a shame that Hamas has acted in this selfish way. We are resolute in seeking an end to this conflict and a permanent peace in Gaza. Well, Fox News...
Man, that's, I don't know, a little optimistic there with what he said there, but I think that's also political talking for Israelis. But nonetheless, we got K2 Keep On Trucking, a member for 4 months, man. I very much appreciate you and everyone that is a member on the channel. Helps out immensely. And he throws an 8-ball, man. I very much appreciate you making that shit rain as well, man. Good to see you, as always.
Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Trey Yingst has more from the region. Let's watch.
Tonight, Israeli negotiators are returning from Doha to review new ceasefire terms proposed by Hamas. Reports indicate the group issued new demands, including that more Palestinian prisoners be exchanged for Israeli hostages, 20 of whom are believed to be alive. The demands prompting U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who is now in Italy for meetings with Qatari counterparts, to bring home American mediators. Witkoff saying, in part, Hamas does not appear to be coordinated or acting in good faith. We will now consider alternative options to bring the hostages home and try to create a more stable environment for the people of Gaza. It is a shame.
Yeah, this is rough. And I would imagine that they just didn't want to give up, Hamas's side on the ceasefire. There's no way that there's going to be a ceasefire in anything if they don't keep hostages, right? Like on their end, that's their bargaining chip, right? So that's the hard part about this. So they probably didn't present a good enough hostage release plan or whatever the case is, because those bodies, that's every bit of leverage that they've got over there in Hamas. Otherwise, they're useless. They're weak. They're nothing now. That's the only thing they got. So, and like I said, I don't care what we got to do. These fucking hostages need to get back home. Whether they're dead or alive, they need to be reunited with their fucking families, dude. Like, it's hostage situations are insane. And that's actually one of the only things that I do support. For instance, if the United States were ever to get involved in this, the only thing I actually support would be for us to go in, get them out, and get out. For real. I'm not talking about like we're staying there because we have this whatever crap. No, you go in, you get the fucking hostages, you get back home. That's it. That's the only thing that I would support our military working in that facet would be to save those hostages.
That Hamas has acted in this selfish way. Inside Gaza, a humanitarian disaster is looming. A Palestinian baby named Odai is placed on a scale in Gaza City. The young boy's parents were killed. Odai's uncle worries his life is slipping away.
Uday is suffering severe malnutrition. He's not accepting milk or nutrients or supplements at all, and that's all due to his very difficult health condition.
Odai's story is not unique. 1 million.
Yeah, it's rough over
children
there.
Are at risk of increasing hunger in the Gaza Strip, according to UNICEF.
Now, we have seen that little propaganda that you just saw right there. That has been used multiple times, that exact image, to sell the emotion of these people. And it's real. It's not fake in that regard. It is real. But they happen to catch one of those insane... one of those super insane fucking, when they were handing it out, and I guess there was limited, not only there's always limited fucking supplies, of course, because shit gets fucking stolen by Hamas, all the aid and all that shit. It's insane that they do that to their own people and then sell it back to their own people. It's fucking, it's so frustrating. But you look at that, and unfortunately, it's been overused in the aspect of now every buddy on that's fighting for that side of the equation, for Hamas's side, basically, they're using that propaganda piece nonstop, and that is a bit annoying.
Disagreements between the heads of UN agencies and the Israeli military about how to distribute aid already inside the enclave is pushing the Palestinian territory deeper into crisis.
One of the main challenges
Cat
we have...
Killer, my man, much love, honor, and respect to you, Cancer.
The number of delays inside Gaza once we are moving from the entry points to Gaza to our final destination points inside Gaza.
Tonight, Fox News obtained new video showing chaotic scenes inside Gaza as UN aid trucks entered.
And this guy is the reporter over there that's over there in Tel Aviv for Fox.
Groups of Palestinians rushing the trucks, trying to get some of the aid. In Tel Aviv, Trey Hinkst, Fox News.
Trey, thanks so much. Bringing into the conversation now some of our friends and colleagues there at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies, including analyst David Daoud. He joins me. David, thanks for being with us here. So it seems like it's Groundhog Day all over again with regard to the hostage ceasefire talks. The United States pulling out of them, Israel pulling out of them because Hamas is doing what it, frankly, has always done here. Witkoff saying, though, they're looking for alternative options. What do you think he means by that? The Associated Press has this caveat. Witkoff.
Well, I mean, the whole reason why Witkoff is even there is to negotiate a deal, right? Like, that's his whole thing, to be able to get the hostages back. maybe they're even thinking about what I just said. I don't know. I'm just saying, that could be an alternative solution to get these hostages back. Sometimes you just got to go in and fucking do it yourself.
Did not clarify what the alternatives were.
I agree with that. Agree with that.
I think, David, you might be muted there.
Oh, muted.
My apologies.
Yeah, and see, dude, again, I got to point it out. I know this has got to be annoying to the fucking audience here, but I just have to say it. Why do these guys get up on their, whether it be their phone or whatnot, and they're wearing the fucking AirPods, man? Like, you're not in the car driving, and dude, they are the worst microphone. How do you, if you're going to speak on national air, more than, if you know that, like, if I knew that I was going to be, my shit's going to be dialed, which it already is. I would have a microphone, I would have a camera, I'd have a soundboard, I would get a real microphone, not some sort of, why do people do this? It's super frustrating.
That is a good question, and it's a pleasure to be on, Andrew. It's been a while. Your guess is as good as mine. The White House has been very mum on what this means. I think there was a White House press secretary who was asked and did not give a straight answer. I don't think we know exactly what those alternatives may be. Perhaps the likeliest situation is going to be that we consult with the Israelis on what options are available to put more pressure on Hamas to soften its position. Now, the sticking point has been, as it remains, like you're saying, it's Groundhog Day all over again. The sticking point has always been that there's an unbridgeable gap between the Israeli position, which is Hamas surrenders, Hamas gives up not just its governance, but its arms. And while Hamas has shown some degree of willingness to talk about surrendering governance when it comes to its arms, its existence as a militia, which is really the threat to the state of Israel, which is really what led to October 7th and the war that's going on. There, Hamas...
Real quick, yeah, Papa... Because of, obviously, I think but I'm saying this for everyone else as well. Every time that we talk about this topic, meaning, small hats over there, we usually get, censored pretty well. It's going to, unfortunately, I already know this video is going to be demonetized right as soon as I end it. It's just the way, unfortunately, when you talk about this shit and you're talking the way that I talk, you definitely get demonetized quick. So on that single one video, not the entire channel.
Isn't budging, and they're asking for a total end to the conflict prior to releasing all the hostages and the remains of the hostages, where the Israelis are saying that unless Hamas surrenders entirely, again, governance and militarily, there will be no end to this conflict. So that's an unbridgeable gap. I don't know what the options are that Steve Witkoff wants to explore to bridge that gap, but perhaps it comes in the form of more military pressure from Israel to push Hamas closer to accepting the United States and Israel's positions on this ceasefire.
David, what's the Qataris' role here? Can't the United States and Israel just say to the Qataris, they're the mediators, they go back to Hamas with whatever is agreed upon? Can't they say to the Qataris, it's now or never? Let's get this done here. Because...
Well, sure, of course.
In his statement, Witkoff said this: Hamas does not appear to be coordinated or acting in good faith. Is there a distinct possibility that the Qataris, the Americans, the Israelis, they don't know who to go back to? Who's representing Hamas?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Hamas and Qatar have a long-standing relationship where...
That's true.
To a certain degree, Qatar acts as Hamas's patron, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Hamas officials that reside in Qatar. Qatar was sending de facto...
Qatar is a good fence sitter on the outside. But on the inside, they support and even finance Hamas.
Active government in Gaza, which was Hamas-controlled money for years. It's unclear if Qatar wants a total surrender of Hamas, wants a total victory for the Israeli side. If Hamas surrenders its weapons, surrenders its control over the Gaza Strip, basically, and gives up the hostages, returns the hostages home, this is a total surrender to Israel's objectives. It is an acknowledgement of defeat. I don't know if Qatar wants this out of Hamas. If we look at how their media, if their media outlets, Al Jazeera and so on, are any indication of their sentiments on this conflict, they sound like a Hamas mouthpiece. So, are they trying to kind of find some middle ground between preserving Hamas while giving the Israelis an off ramp that is doesn't fully satisfy Israel's needs, but allows it to walk away at least with the hostages return, and kind of a return to the status quo ante that existed on October 6th. Perhaps that's where the Qataris are now. The question is, how much influence do they still have over Hamas to the degree that Hamas's leadership has been decimated within the Gaza Strip? That's a separate question.
I mean, Hamas's leaders have been taken out, picked off one by one.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, I mean, what is there left of Hamas? Like, what is there actually? What is there actually left? Do they have fucking anything of like actual real deal threat, whether it be weapons, missiles, whatever the case is? And their missiles that they were making, those bunk ass where they had the 5 kilogram warheads or whatever, that's nothing, by the way. Those, like the ones Iran was using, was like 50 to 100 kilograms, not 5 kilograms. Little tiny fucking warheads that, yeah, they're just pieces of shit, you know. Something that you would look like that you make in your garage type thing. Yeah, insane. They don't have anything anymore.
Won by Israel. And so I think, you know, people coming to this story.
The one thing that they do have, the one thing that Hamas does have, is that underground city. Now, if you guys don't know, those tunnels that you guys have heard about during this whole thing since basically October 7th is it's almost a mirror city. As big as Gaza is above the ground, it is below the ground as well. Now, that's not made for Palestinians, okay? That's not for the safety of Palestinians. That's not for any of that. That was only built for Hamas. Hamas built, and that's only for them. It's not to protect their people. It's not to do any of that shit. It's to create terror. Really, that's where they create terrorism, you know? And obviously, that's where our hostages right now, well, I shouldn't say our, I would say Israel's hostages, because I think we got the very last American hostage completely back, right? So I think now it's only Israeli hostages left. Nonetheless, that's where they're at. They're underground. And that's the one vantage, that's the one thing that they got over there is that part. Their underground city.
Periodically throughout the course of now almost 2 years.
Mr. Good morning, as well as Mount High.
You know, how does
TGI
Hamas
Friday.
have any leverage in these talks anymore? Yes, they still have hostages, dead and alive, but that seems to be their only negotiating point here. David, I want to transition our conversation. Let's go back to some of our live vantage points there.
It's true,
in and around the Middle East. Ambassador Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, he tweeted out a photo of some of these aid trucks. And you're hearing from many world leaders, especially in the West, David, that the humanitarian situation in Gaza has reached a very, very dire fever pitch. Now, you have heard that throughout the course.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible right now. I mean, the conditions there, it's miserable. I would, there's no way I would ever want to live that life.
Course of this entire conflict. But to me, having watched the ins and outs of this conflict each and every day since October 7th, it seems to be different. It seems that Canada, Australia, UK, and others, we just reported a couple of days ago on that joint statement, numerous countries saying Israel needs to do more, the world needs to do more to address the humanitarian situation in Gaza. What is so different about it now? Why is it so dire now?
Well, that's exactly what's going to end up happening, Papa, is basically a name change. And it'll be the same thing, as you said. It's an ideology, which is true. It's very true that it is a certain ideology, right? And I'm trying to not, I'm trying to stay on YouTube here, right? So,
like you said, I think it's been considered dire from the outset. I think part of why you're seeing this increased pressure is that the war has continued for almost 2 years. We're running up on a couple of months short of 2 years, coming October 7th of 2025, and there's no end in sight. The humanitarian situation in Gaza is complicated. You have the GHF, which is been trying to distribute aid in a its successes have been up and down, so to speak. Look, distributing humanitarian aid in an active conflict zone is one of the most difficult tasks that anyone can undertake. When you're talking about an organization, an entity like GHF, which is relatively new, they're learning on a very steep, learning curve. They're operating on a very steep learning curve, and there's been complications to put it very lightly, complications that Hamas has an interest in benefiting from. At the same time, you have Israeli concerns about aid coming through the United Nations falling into Hamas's hands and giving Hamas a lifeline to continue the fight. So there's been this tension between how do you get aid to...
Look at this. This is being posted on X. He's not going to... I don't think he's even going to say it. I think he's just having this in the background. If you look at this, this is an insane amount of aid that is sitting over there right now. So Mike Huckabee, the ambassador, he comes out, puts it on X with a huge picture of like this massive area, like insane. It looks big as fuck. Here are photos of UN trucks and amp enough food to feed all of Gaza, but it is sits rotting. UN is a tool of Hamas. US-based GHF is actually delivering food for free and safely. UN food is either looted by Hamas or rots in the sun. Photos from yesterday.
Into Gaza, how do you ensure that that aid reaches its recipients rather than reaching the wrong hands and contributing?
What's up, Bree Rodriguez? Good morning to you and happy Friday.
Continuation of this war, rather than to alleviating the humanitarian suffering of the Gazans themselves. Plus, again, I think primarily for these Western countries, the death toll is rising. This war does not seem to be ending anytime soon. And with that, obviously, the humanitarian situation is going to grow. Pressure on Israel to take more responsibility for the lives of Gazans on the day-to-day is going to grow.
So Ambassador Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, with this photo saying, here are photos of UN trucks.
Oh, he is actually going to read it. Food. So I wouldn't have read it if I thought he was just having this in the background and sliding it around. But
food to feed all of Gaza, but it sits rotting, saying the UN is a tool of Hamas. U.S.-based GHF is actually delivering food for free and safely. UN food is either looted by Hamas or rots in the sun. He says those photos are from yesterday. The food aid distribution has been a side story in this entire conflict, David. You know that. And you have these competing groups who are trying to deliver it, some to no avail. To Ambassador Huckabee's point, it doesn't get to where it needs to go for numerous different reasons here. Is there going to be some type of change of approach in this or not?
I mean, I don't think anything, if there is a change in approach, and perhaps there should be, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Unfortunately, with things like this, it's a process of trial and error. You know, you're trying to hit a moving.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, when you've got a terroristic organization that's coming after you every single fucking time you go out there with aid and killing their own people, I don't know, man. It's a very, and as he said, it's a hard thing that it's just unfortunately happening, and it is a trial and error ordeal. And for instance, they tried to bring in this organization. I forget the exact name. Someone in the chat will know. But basically, an American company or whatever that's there and help distribute, and then the IDF has been, going with, or wherever these distribution hubs are, they go with them, and then protect the people as it's being handed out. Now, this is the problem with something like that. Now, it's aiming Hamas to rob its own citizens, its own people. That's essentially because just because you can't get it at the main source doesn't mean that it can be grabbed as soon as you're, half a block away from the distribution place or whatever. You're almost home and you get mugged by your own people, it's got to be fucked, man.
Target in an active combat zone.
I don't really know. I really don't know the answer on how to keep the control of this. It's definitely rough.
That has an interest in, again, Hamas, and an interest in aid not reaching its recipients, magnifying the humanitarian disaster, magnifying the impact of the war on average Gazans, puts pressure on Israel through the international community, as we're seeing, to stop the war prematurely, giving Hamas a lifeline. At the same time, getting the aid through reliable mechanisms to Gazans. It's a complicated task that you have entities like the GHF. There's a lot of criticism of them. I think they're trying to operate in good faith, but again, I think the UN agencies are to some degree trying to operate in good faith.
Okay.
But the GHF is operating on a steep learning curve. I think the UN agencies don't have the ability to secure that aid from falling.
What's up, Tiffany? Good to see you, by the way. And man, no worries about being late or anything like that. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning.
The hands of Hamas.
As much as
so
you
you
can.
have this tension. Whatever change needs to happen is going to happen through a process of trial and error. And unfortunately, it becomes more.
You want to know why? And I think Papa Penguin said this yesterday, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I like this question because of what's happening, regarding Thailand or whatever. I find it interesting. He goes, the reason why it's not, prime time being talked about widely on the media, everything else is being talked about, but not that. Why? They don't have fucking nukes, so no one gives a shit. That's what I was like, whoa, that is gotta be fucking true, man. That's a wild, but I totally get it. you know?
Complicated by the fact that we are dealing with an active combat situation.
David, let's move our conversation into an announcement made by French President Emmanuel Macron earlier today, saying that come September, later this fall, reminding our viewers in New York City, each and every September is the UN General Assembly. World leaders come, they say their piece there on the dais. He says during his speech, the French nation will recognize that a state of Palestine...
Man, that's probably the best solution I've heard right here, because everyone's condemning what's happening with the food distribution, but they usually don't have like an actual remedy. You know what I mean? This is pretty this is pretty intuitive right here. If the UN was smart, it would do what the US did with the mafia during World War II. Got to partner with the local organized crime, drives a wedge between them and Hamas, then gets food to starving people. Absolutely. W take, by the way. That's a W take for sure. Good to see you, Todd J, as well. Good morning, kind sir. Always appreciate you and hanging out with us.
I want to put this post
Hit the
up
like
here.
button, everybody.
Macron says, consistent with its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, I have decided France will recognize the state of Palestine. I will make this solemn announcement before the United Nations General Assembly this coming September, saying the urgent priority today is to end the war in Gaza and to bring relief to the civilian population.
This is, what's his name over there in France? What's his title over there? Consistent with its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, I have decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine. I will make this solemn announcement before the United Nations General Assembly this coming September. The urgent priority today is to end the war in Gaza and to bring relief to the civilian population. Peace is possible. Why didn't you say anything? You should have said something at bare minimum on this. I mean, this is radical, it is. But what about the hostages? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you say, like, and bring back the hostages? You know? Man.
He says, peace.
Priorities are always on some fucking politic shit. Where's the care for human life, man? I mean, and then you see, you know, people getting fucked up over there. Total, you know, innocent people that are just getting fucked up. It's like, it's a miserable landscape, man.
Possible, saying we need an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and massive humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza. He says we must also ensure the demilitarization of Hamas, secure and rebuild Gaza. And finally, we must build the state of Palestine, guarantee its viability, and ensure that by accepting its demilitarization and fully recognizing Israel, it contributes to the security of all in the region. Now, David, in the wake of October 7th, as Israel prosecutes this war in the Gaza Strip against Hamas, you can make the argument, many have, that the long-standing U.S. policy in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine, the two-state solution, was all but dead.
Yes. Regarding his wife being a transgender or something like that, Bree, right?
Nail in the coffin of that very policy. What is France doing here? They are a member of the G7. I was reading that if Macron goes through with this and doesn't kind of buck to pressure he's getting, they will be the only member of the G7 to recognize the state of Palestine. When a nation like France says that they will officially recognize a Palestinian state, does it redound to the benefit of Gazans, of Palestinians? Who does it benefit? Why does it matter?
Look, France is a major power on the world scene. France is a major power within the European Union. They're arguably the most influential.
Thank you, Motobomb. Hopefully you enjoy your rest of your morning and your weekend as well, man.
Power within the European Union. So it does have some resonance. It is not the tree that fell in the woods and no one was there to hear the sound. At the same time, what does it do practically? What are we talking about when we mean the recognition of the state of Palestine? Mere recognition by France, first of all, doesn't create a state of Palestine. It just puts France on a collision course with Israel. Which is not going to end its control of the West Bank because, like you said, October 7th, I think, revealed or kind of touched that Israeli raw nerve that was very hesitant about granting the Palestinians a state.
That's right, K2.
Lest they do from the West Bank what happened from Gaza. But at the same time, it does nothing to resolve the outstanding questions that have made the achievement of a two-state solution nearly impossible for decades and under better conditions. I'm not just talking about, over the past decade or so, but at the height of optimism in the mid to late 1990s, early 2000s, you had the question of Jerusalem, the question of mutual recognition and the permanent end to the conflict, the issue of Palestine.
Well, yeah, okay. So let's see what else is Palestinian state in these conditions. This is from Prime Minister of Israel, by the way. A Palestinian state in these conditions would be a launch pad to annihilate Israel, not to live in peace beside it. Let's be clear, the Palestinians do not seek a state alongside Israel. They seek a state instead of Israel. I agree with that if you're talking about Hamas. Absolutely. I don't think Palestinians, I think they know, like we just happen to live here and we're pushed into this corner and we know our place. You know what I mean? I really think that, this is this is an opinion, obviously, because I don't know this to be a fact. But when you live in the garage, meanwhile, the people that are occupied are now like living lush on the land. Dude, I don't think that they, as a general consensus, want to seek a state. I think the two-state thing they were all right with, and I think that the Palestinians would still be okay with that. I honestly believe that. I think that they know their place in this shit. They're like, fuck, dude, we're dusted. We have no fighting chance. We don't even have a fucking military.
Rubio also condemning these moves today, and we have the Rubio statement, saying the United States strongly rejects Emmanuel Macron's plan to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. This reckless decision only serves Hamas propaganda and sets back peace. It is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th. Very strong words there from Rubio. David, lastly, while we have you, let's stay in France. Let's go to Paris here. Earlier today, senior Israeli and Syrian ministers met there in Paris for about 4 hours.
Real quick, what's up? We got Christopher Collins in the building. Roll Tide, man. Good to see you.
Under the auspices of President Trump's special envoy on Syria, Tom Barak, and discussed de-escalation and tensions between the countries. This really kind of boiled over the weekend. We got some of these very kind of slapdash, hastily made ceasefires between so many of these groups and factions in Syria. Israel got involved, striking in airstrikes, the very heart of Syria in central Damascus over this. Will it hold? I guess that's the question everyone's asking. What were these talks today about?
I will add one thing to the previous issue as well. I think Macron's position could be uses leverage over the Israelis. End the war in Gaza. We won't recognize a Palestinian state, kind of similar to what they did with the ICC case and their involvement in the ceasefire mechanism in Lebanon. As it relates to Israel and Syria, look, this is a continuation of talks, as far as I see it, that predated the.
That's right, Papa Penguin. That's why I pointed that out, because I hadn't seen that, tweet or whatever the case is. I hadn't seen that from Netanyahu or whatever. But he definitely should have named Hamas and not Palestinians there. But
the tensions over the past 2 weeks in Syria, where you started to see talk. Surprisingly,
I know, Christopher Collins. That's why I say it. Ever since that you told me that you're like, yeah, my wife would kill me knowing you. No, that's why I do it. It's funny.
Some degree of normalization initially between Israel and Syria, and then a little bit more realistically about security coordination between the two countries on issues of mutual interest in areas that affect both of their security, namely in southern Syria. What neither Syria nor Israel, as much as distrust as there exists between these two countries, want is a return of Iranian influence in that region and fractiousness. Druze separatism, Kurdish separatism. This contributes. It facilitates the return of Iranian influence in this region. This does not help Syria. This does not help Israel. So I would say part of the talks are going to be a continuation of those perhaps security-oriented talks. How do we, as Israel and Syria, don't have diplomatic?
Well, just don't fuck with the Druze, essentially, man. I mean, if that's what they're talking about right here is regarding Syria and what happened over there in Damascus. But we're gonna move on. Real quick, because I have it in the title, I'm going to show you guys a little something before we get into the last story. We have a weather dome that's, a extreme heat dome that's happening where millions of people are under heat advisory right now. And I think a lot of you guys are probably dealing with this heat advisory as well.
We are in a weather alert day today.
And then we'll finalize the whole show. We'll wrap it up with what just happened right before we started the live was University of New Mexico shooting. There was 1 dead and 2 shot, and the manhunt for the suspect is still ongoing. So anyways, back to
As
this.
millions of people across the United States are currently under heat warnings and heat advisories, including New York City. This is a gorgeous look right here of the Statue of Liberty, and you can see the sun rising. Comfortable now, perhaps, but certainly not going to be the case as the sun continues to get higher and higher in the sky. So more than 129 million people across more than 20 states are under life-threatening heat alerts from the south to the east coast as a large ridge of high pressure builds over the central U.S. this week. Otherwise commonly known as the heat dome. So the tri-state area, which includes New York, is also
Jersey,
under this heat advisory, and certainly something to be taken seriously. I do want to bring in Fox weather meteorologist Bain Froney, who is live in New York City with the very latest. Comfortable now, Bain, probably, but certainly not going to be the case later on today.
Yeah, but I don't think the Middle East deals with our type of fucking humidity. The humidity, listen, the heat isn't really what bothers me. It's the humidity, man. That shit fucking sucks, man. I hate it. That's the one terrible thing about moving to the South. It was because I come from Southern California, man. Every day it's 70 degrees. And that's what you get accustomed to. And so now, and it's more of a drier, 70 degrees. It's not humid. So definitely that was one thing I adjusted to, and I don't think I'll ever actually adjust to that. I think everyone just stays miserable. I even ask my neighbors, I'm like, how do you guys survive this shit? And like, how do you get used to this? And they're like, you don't, it's fucked.
Yeah, right now, it feels pretty good. We got a nice breeze going. I will say, though, the subway systems, that's going to be the issue for today. I mean, New Yorkers, the heat's not going to stop them. They got to get to work. They got to get to where they're going. But, the subway systems here, that ventilation, it's not great. So when it's incredibly hot out, it feels even hotter down there. I mean, I have my handy-dandy thermometer, and I was doing temperature readings down there earlier this morning. 82 degrees, it felt like down there. And giving some perspective, right now, we're reading about...
Man, oh man. Bree Rodriguez comes in with the $9.99, by the way. Very much appreciate you. She says, better than living in Cali, though. You're absolutely 1,000%. That's 1,000% fact. Honestly, it's the best thing that I've ever done, making a big move like that. That was the best thing I could have ever done for myself and for my family, was to get out of California. I mean, dude, if you're not making $7,500 a month, you're eating top ramen at $7,500 a month. It's fucking miserable. It's miserable. You're always behind on dude, I was making great money there. Well over 6 figures. And you're still struggling, you're still trying to make it by. And then what happened with me, this is the whole reason why it ended up happening, was I lost my fucking job because of my leg, So it was an unfortunate situation, but I'm glad that I'm here now because, also, one thing I kid around and I say, I wish I would have done this decades ago. But I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't stay there and grow up and go through the shit that I did. I think that was all, it all had to happen for me. Anyways, appreciate you, Bree Rodriguez, for that.
81 outside. So right now it feels even warmer down into our subway systems currently. And as we move throughout the next few hours, we're going to see that humidity starting to feel a lot stickier. Our temperatures potentially reaching 98 degrees in the city.
In the city of New York, man, that's fucked. So it says right here, heat and humidity will combine to produce max heat, I don't know what, index, and I don't know, of 100 to 105. Damn, that's fucking hot. Severe thunderstorms are possible. This is tonight for 7:25. Are possible this tonight with the primary threat from damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or greater, that's pretty. I mean, that's not extreme high, but that's still 60 miles per hour is fucked. There is a localized flash flood threat and any heavier downpours. And this over there in New York, obviously. Man, that's brutal. So millions just in the tri-state area. That's pretty radical. I know that we are definitely feeling the heat, but not to that extent there. Moderate to heavy rain continues to fall across portions of the KC, Kentucky Metro. And right? That's what KC, Kansas City, not, okay. Metro and surrounding areas with flash flooding warnings ongoing. That's fucked too. All right, so you guys see that. Let's go ahead and move on into the last part of the show here. Well, we're going to end it with this. University of New Mexico shooting. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and this happened right before we went live, so...
We are following some breaking news on this Friday morning out of New Mexico. This is a live look right here at Rio Rancho, New Mexico. This is about 25 minutes away from Albuquerque, New Mexico. That is where the breaking news is out of. At this hour, a search is on for a suspect after 2 people were shot on the campus of the University of New Mexico, and the university sharing this social media post.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm still licensed federally to this day.
Right here, asking everyone to shelter in place and avoid Central Campus. They write, in the early morning hours of July 25th.
What's up, Brother Dwayne? My man. Happy Friday. Good to see you.
UNMPD received a report of gunshots fired at Casas del Rio, located at that particular address in Albuquerque. Responding officers discovered 2 individuals had been shot. And they go on to say that 1 victim is deceased and the other sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect remains at large and may still be on campus. They say out of an abundance of caution, UNM has closed its Albuquerque Central Campus and the health centers, science centers, including all of the clinical facilities right there. They wrap up their alert saying that those components remain open. Multiple law enforcement agencies are on scene and actively investigating. They're asking
Man, I've heard that the Great Lakes up there, man, they can get extremely violent. Now, I've never been there, granted, never been. But I have heard that it can get fucking crazy out there in the Great Lakes. Like, it looks like sometimes worse than sea conditions, meaning Pacific or Atlantic, the radical.
We want to continue to monitor the UNM email, text messages, as well as other agencies and the Lobo Guardian for any real-time updates. And they're asking anyone with any information about this incident to call them at that number right there on your screen. A live look right here at Rio Rancho, which is about 25 minutes away from Albuquerque, which is where UNM's campus is located right here. And a little more information as well from UNM. The Central Campus does remain closed. Police on the scene, and according to this emergency alert, there is a subject with a firearm at large. They're saying if you're on campus to continue to shelter in place. So that is what they sent out as an emergency notification. They're asking anyone with information to call them and also to call Crime Stoppers. They're offering up to $1,000 for anonymous tips that could lead to that arrest. All of this happening.
Man, that's fucking insane.
Early this morning at around, and that's all they said, in fact, early morning hours of this Friday, saying that they received a report of gunshots fired. When responding officers arrived to that scene, they discovered 2 individuals had been shot, 1 victim deceased, the other with non-life-threatening injuries. But according to this emergency alert, the suspect with a firearm remains at large and could still be there on campus. All of this happening very early on this Friday morning. As of now, we don't have any update as to whether officers are going to be holding a news conference of sorts as this remains
Of course they're going to. You know that.
Situation, actively searching for a possibly armed suspect there on the campus of the University of New Mexico. But they are asking everyone to shelter in place if they're on campus and to avoid.
Totally, like ricochets, goes and then it bounces back and it's like sloshing back and forth. I know exactly what you're talking about, K2.
The area until further notice right there. The suspect, they say, at this hour, still at large, hasn't been caught, and could still be there on campus. No information about the 2 individuals who were shot, whether they were students there on the campus. Also, no details about that suspect there as well. But as
Zero details. So nothing was caught on camera?
You can imagine there on a university campus, there are a lot of surveillance.
Like, I was just about, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're on a campus. Bro, everything is monitored. Where's the cameras?
cameras there. And no doubt authorities are combing through all of that surveillance video to give them a better idea in terms of exactly what happened. Those are the questions that are...
Yo, we got Brother Slim up in the building. Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you.
Are still unanswered at this hour.
Happy Friday.
Fluid situation. We are expecting at some point today to receive more information from campus officials and also from police as they are currently searching for a potential...
I worked up there for a small time, worked out of the sound up there, and even went to, I'm trying to remember the name. It starts with an A. Well, there's Port Angeles. I was up there, but it's where you cross, it's that border up there where you go into Canada. I used to load oil over there. So, yeah, crazy.
Armed suspect who could
time,
still be
for
on
like about a year.
Campus of the University of New Mexico after they received emergency
Astoria,
calls about
thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yep, Astoria.
Fired. They
there.
found 2 victims, one deceased, the other one who sustained
But that's still on the American side. Just
life-threatening injuries.
Yes.
No word yet on who those victims were, male, female, whether they were students there on campus, and also no information about the suspect at that time. But any new updates, any new details, we will pass that on to you. Authorities are asking anyone to avoid the central campus and UNF.
Well, yeah. I mean, avoid that whole fucking campus altogether.
Has closed the Albuquerque Central Campus as well as other areas. However, the health
definitely don't be hanging around down the block from the area either. Don't be, dude, this guy's at large, man.
The center, including all of the clinical components, do remain open at this hour. So multiple law enforcement agencies are on scene. They're actively investigating at this hour.
So, I mean, what we're going to end up doing is giving you guys an update on that tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to have an update on that. Or not tomorrow, because tomorrow is members only, because we do that every single Saturday, 10 a.m. CST, 11 a.m. Eastern. We have a great time. If you guys are members, man, that's one thing that we get to do that's, basically pretty much uncensored all the way through. But we don't talk usually about politics and stuff like that. We usually either have, where we're reviewing police crazy body cam footage, which is what we're going to do tomorrow. But some Saturdays, we'll do like some Ratchet 304 fucking, observing of crazy, inner dynamics of men and women and in race as well. It's awesome, man. We have a great time. So anyways, with that being said, everybody, I hope that you guys all enjoy your Friday afternoon and the rest of your day. Hopefully you guys stay safe out there. And hopefully we see all of you guys tomorrow for members only. But if not, we'll see you guys Monday morning for more of the World's Madness. Until then, God bless everyone. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you all for contributing and hitting the like, by the way. Appreciate all of you guys.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.